Hello, everyone. It's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting episode of the Two Guys Talking podcast featuring your boys.
Oh,
Anthony.
yeah, sup? Hi. It's a guy. I I was looking up and I thought the feed was freezing up for a second, and I thought everything, my Wi-Fi, my laptop was just exploding. But yeah, hi, I'm Anthony.
Welcome, Anthony. And
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, aka Dark Sidious, over here in the fucking Shadow Realm. And today.
Sidious has more light though. You can see his chin is the same as Palpatine's chin because you can see it at the bottom of his eyes and top of his head is hooded. But because he's a hologram, you can see his chin. This should be a dead giveaway if someone was able to actually see both. Which I have never seen. Well, Yoda did once. That was a weird vision hologram thingy. So I
I'll
probably
be right back.
didn't.
I'm gonna plug in my phone. I say right back as if I'm actually leaving the room. I'm just not in camera.
I was wondering about that.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do as another thing during the stream. I like that yesterday's podcast was like a hangout thing, and we all kind of had a thing to do. Now I'm trying to figure out: am I gonna scroll through comic book news? Am I gonna draw pictures? I started doing that after the podcast. I started drawing pictures. I could look at Reddit and talk about Reddit stuff. Right now, Ryan's pulling up the Anarchist program.
Sound all right?
Right. Jinx on that, Anthony. So let's see. Is there any news stuff? Aiden has started watching The Boys. He says he's 5 episodes in on The Boys. Anthony,
Yeah.
you watch The Boys?
Yeah, I think I told him about it at some point.
Okay. What's your
But yeah, but I haven't watched the second season yet because I want them to release all the episodes, and I think the finale came out a day or two ago, so I might be watching that soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've avoided The Boys. I've heard it's kind of overly grotesque, and I'm not super into that. This guy that I watch, Cosmonaut Variety Hour, he said that he almost didn't watch The Boys for the same reason. But then when he watched season 1, he loved it. He thought it was really good. But then he said season 2 isn't as good.
I believe it.
What's your
Although,
opinion?
my own opinion, I also watch Cosmonaut Variety Hour as well. But Marcus has a lot of hot takes that I don't quite agree with, but that's perfectly fine. I would agree that it does have a bit of gore too. Well, quite a lot of gore. But I do like the overall theme of the entire show. So it kind of makes up for it. Or at least I feel like it. I'm already kind of desensitized to this kind of thing, so I probably am speaking for myself.
Now, you mentioned that Marcus has hot takes that you don't agree with. What are
Yeah.
some Marcus hot takes that you don't vibe with?
Well, I remember one time he made that Last of Us 2 video saying that Last of Us 2 is art, you're just dumb. And as an avid disliker of Last of Us 2, I feel like he didn't. The title was a little bit clickbaity, but there was a lot of points I didn't quite agree with as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that the only big Marcus hot take where you're ah?
To be honest, I think so, yeah. That might be one of the few. And any others would be very not as significant, I think. Because I don't 100% watch the things that he's talking about. I just enjoy the way he kind of goes through stuff.
Agreed. I think
Yeah.
everyone on the podcast right now is subscribed to and regularly watches Cosmonaut Variety Hour.
Yeah, I think I'm still subscribed.
Ballin'. Do you watch D'Angelo Wallace?
D'Angelo Wallace. I don't think so.
Now D'Angelo Wallace, he's not similar to Cosmonaut Variety Hour, but for some reason I pair them together a little bit. Let me screen share. So D'Angelo Wallace. So this is D'Angelo Wallace. Essentially what he
Oh,
is. Oh, do you
okay.
recognize him?
Yeah. I saw like one or two videos from him before. I never thought much of it, but he seemed pretty. I think I did kind of like it. I think. I don't remember what video I saw exactly though.
Yeah, I dig his content. He does a lot of like it's weird to call him like reactionary, but he does do videos where he reacts to stuff that's going on, especially with like internet influencers and some of their like darker sides. But he's
Yeah.
very chill. He has this like very overconfident like personality that he has where he'll talk about like how good looking he is and stuff like that. But I like it. It's like charming in a way. But
Hmm.
I don't know. Like I've been vibing with his content. I jumped on his wave fairly recently. Ryan, don't Ryan. No, no. I will find a way to deal with this. No, I just don't know if there is a way to deal with it.
Yes, I don't think
Ryan,
Facebook
no.
Messenger is kind of trash, so I don't think it has any way of muting people or doing anything about anything.
Got us. Bird photobombs meteorologist. Is that a bird mascot?
I think
Nope,
like
that's an actual bird.
they have like those cameras where they'll like show like the weather, like the clouds and stuff. It
Yeah.
looks like a bird is getting up on top of one of those cameras.
Yeah. I saw that video like 2 times already.
So
Different. Yeah.
I don't mind Ryan playing some videos. I do fear the copyright strike thing. I learned recently what it looks like from the other side, like how it is for you to strike someone. So YouTube gave me a notification recently where they're like, yo, there are 4 or 5 videos that are just straight up like using your content. And I was like, what? And then I looked at it and I didn't flag anybody, I didn't strike anybody. All those videos are just other people who did Reddit React videos, but I reacted to the Reddit thing first. And YouTube has no way of differentiating like the React videos from each other. So they're like, they're ripping you off. And I'm like, the material that you say they're ripping off, I didn't even make. I was just like reacting to. So it's interesting how easy it is to, if you're just the first person to do something, for YouTube to be like, oh, bet, that's you. That's you all the
I
way.
mean,
You can stop
I
everything.
mean, YouTube's stupid. The algorithm's kind of fucky, and it doesn't really care about who it strikes, even if it's justified or not. So it's it's something you'd have to fight, at least at some point.
Agreed. I actually did have to fight YouTube on a thing. I did a dub of a public domain anime, where I did like a ghetto dub, and someone tried to claim ownership of the public domain anime. I won in the end, but it was interesting having to contest it. It was like the first time I'd ever had to contest something.
Yeah, it's stupid how much you have to fight for stuff.
It's also weird because you can't really fight for stuff until you get big enough. Like if I had made
Exactly.
a video like earlier on in my career, they could have just claimed it and there wouldn't have been shit I could have done about it.
Mm, yeah. I know you do have to build up quite a bit of clout in order for YouTube to actually do anything a lot of times. Because I know that a lot of their shit works on Twitter. like going to Twitter, you get actual people raise enough noise, they'll do something about it, maybe. But that would require you having an actual following.
Gesundheit, right?
But that would require you having an actual following
Or
to
someone to
back you
follow it
up.
to do it instead.
So
Like if you had like a friend who was a big person.
that's true.
Yeah,
Hard.
that's true.
Like hard with their social media, like Anthony was saying. Like, you know, their volume is up very hard.
Having a successful friend can be rough at times because they would also either need to already have known you before your channel or during your channel, or they somehow came in contact with you out of the millions of people. If your story is interesting enough, I guess.
So
I
right
don't know.
I'm sharing the headlines of comic book resource news. Let me know if anything is cool. The top headline is Swamp Thing used to be fused with Stonehenge. That sounds stupid. I'm gonna keep going. X-Men, Marvel's resurrection problem could reframe a House of X power. That headline is so vague, and I feel like if you don't know what the fuck they're talking about, I think that's like the point of it. You're supposed to be like, House of X, what House of X powers? Ooh, how is resurrection gonna reframe it? I don't care. Let's see. Heavy Metal launches Magma Comics imprint, announces first wave of titles. I mean, that potentially could be cool. I noticed on the cover of the Modern Frankenstein, they have a black guy with dreads, and I'm like, oh, don't normally see that on the cover. I don't know how much I care about the Modern Frankenstein. It feels weird to name something that, because eventually it's not going to be modern. Like calling it like the new Frankenstein or something.
I think I've seen this building before. Because I've been to Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah.
My dad says stuff like that a lot when we watch movies. He'll pause movies and stand up and go up to the screen and point at a building and be like, I've been there before. And he'll sit back down and he'll play the movie.
That's something I feel like my dad would do too. But he won't pause the movie because he probably wasn't watching in the first place.
Ooh, my dad's bad about being on his phone and then asking what happened, right after the thing occurs.
Yeah. My dad, he doesn't ask what happened. He's always on his iPad. But he doesn't ask what happened throughout the movie. He just kind of, he tries to predict what's going to happen. And whatever happens, he either tells what happens wrongly or tells as if he has already seen the movie, even though he hasn't already.
So he
It's kinda
doesn't
weird.
say it like he's guessing. He says it as if he like knows.
Yeah. Like, I know how this is going to end. That person's going to do that, that's going to do that, and they're going to do that because she's a woman.
That's not what I expected.
My dad's just a little bit misogynist. Just a little bit.
I feel like a lot of parents have like a weird thing that they'll say that's like a hot take thing, and you'll be like, okay, no, but all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I accept that as a generation thing.
Yeah.
A little bit fucked still, but
It's one
I still like my dad. That's all good.
right.
Yeah.
The thing where if I had like a kid or something, and then I was like, okay, when you go over, your grandparents might say some stupid shit, but you already. So this headline I think is interesting, and I think Ryan might actually be interested in the headline. So the headline is Batman. DC reveals that the Joker is a serious Family Guy fan. Now, at first, when I read that, I didn't care. I was like, sure, the Joker watches Family Guy. But then they were like, in the Batman The Adventures Continue, DC animated universe version of Joker showed that he likes Family Guy. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Because the DC animated universe is kind of weird. Like how, like, time is. Because Batman is, like, in the 90s, but it's also, like, everything's kind of, like, black and white on the TVs, and they still got, like, newspapers and big
Has
and shit.
like Art Deco, like 30s and 40s, like aesthetic for being out also in the 1990s somehow.
Right. So I think it's interesting that DC animated universe Joker likes Family Guy because I'm like, when? When does he like Family? Like, is it like an
Family Guy started. Like look at like the air date on the Wikipedia for Family Guy and be like sometime after that point. Obviously, he's not gonna like it before it aired.
Family Guy originally released January 31st, excuse me, 1999.
Hmm.
Now the issue with Batman The Adventures Continue or whatever, it takes place in like a weird pocket in the DCAU continuity. Because I think it's like after the Batman the Animated Series, but before like other events. You know what I mean? Like, essentially,
Is it before the animated series, or like does that include like the new Batman Adventures, where they have like the redesign?
I think it might be.
That's like where they kind of bring the aesthetic closer to like the Superman the animated series. So it's like less black and white Art Deco.
I'm gonna ask, when does it take place on Google?
And then you have Batman Beyond in the future. Then you come back around the year 2000 or something with Justice League, and that
So
continues. It's kind of like modern-ish aesthetic.
it sounds like it takes place between the original Batman animated series and the like extended one that they did after that. Because it says the series takes place during the early days of Tim Drake as Robin and is a sequel to Batman the Animated Series.
So like the new Batman Adventures days, because that's when it still has like young Tim Drake.
It sounds almost like it's between the two.
So like before the first episode of like the new Batman Adventures.
In the new Batman Adventures, is Tim Drake already Robin, or does he become
Yeah,
Robin during
he's
those?
like already Robin.
Okay. It sounds like it might be a prequel then, because it says the early days of Tim Drake as Robin, and then it says it's a sequel to
Somewhere in like the 90s.
So then that's the issue, right? Is if Family Guy comes out January 31st, 1999.
Oh, if they're just like the DCAU Joker, that could include the Joker's appearances in like Justice League, which is in like the 2000s. Like the character, like is further than just the Batman.
But they're making a reference to it in Batman The Adventures Continue, which is in this pocket. Like, you see where the issue comes up? I get that he exists beyond when Family Guy is out, but if it's in the pocket, then can it work like that? Like, when does the new Batman Adventures take place?
The new Batman Adventures aired from 97 to 99.
Okay, and then
So
the
this is
series,
before that, so it should be somewhere in like 97.
right? So if this is a
Or
97. Then how can the Joker be a like big Family Guy fan 2 years before Family Guy?
I mean, they have time travel, so maybe he saw at one point in a time travel machine plot on TV.
That sounds like more convoluted, but I guess possible. So right now I'm on a DC Comics website, so this may give us a better idea of when it takes place than whatever that Google excerpt was from. So relative to the last time we saw these versions of the characters, Paul Dini said it's pretty much a continuation. Fans familiar with the Batman of the new Batman Superman adventures will be right up to speed. Alan and I approached the writing with the idea that we were doing the season you might have seen if we had not put the series aside to do Batman Beyond. So that's kind of a different placement.
I mean, essentially, you have, in terms of air dates, right? You have the animated series starting in 92, going to 95. And then you have the new Batman Adventures starting in 90. So it can just be in that gap of like really late 95, 96, and a bunch of 97 in terms of like air date synonymous with like
In universe
current
date.
date. Yeah.
Yeah. Alan
And
Burrett. Well, Alan Burnett, I
you
think.
could just have comic book time in the gap, so spread the gap out longer than you otherwise might think.
Alan Burnett said, what is different, however, is that we're going back to cover certain gaps in the original series, events that didn't have a bearing on the series at the time, but now do. In other words, there will be secret histories that will turn Batman's world upside down, things that no one knew were out there until now. See, that sounds more like they're filling in gaps in tasks than filling in. It sounds like they're saying two different things. Because Paul.
On the Wikipedia page, it describes the distinctives of the old episodes, where it's like a combination of noir and like Art Deco that they call Dark Deco, which makes sense, I guess. You know.
I just realized the way that I'm doing screen share, you guys don't see the fact that I'm looking at the Batman animated series thing because it's tab specific. So
Yeah, it's tied to the browser if you take it to the browser.
Hmm.
So it's whatever. So like right now, they should see this Wikipedia page as opposed to the Anarchist program.
right. So I realized that while I was talking about the article I was looking at, that you guys couldn't see it. Like I just picked that up. Boom, boom, boom. Bum, 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 bum. Anthony, do you listen to Young Gravy?
No.
What?
Why is that surprising? Is it someone I should know?
So Young Gravy is really good. I originally listened to his stuff on whatchamafucket boop 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 SoundCloud, and I thought he was like a small SoundCloud rapper. And then I saw that he had posted like a music video on YouTube, and I was like, oh, I guess there is kind of more of a following. Then from there, he's continued to build and grow. There was a guy that he used to do features with called Baby No Money, and Baby No Money blew up, and so did Young Gravy. He recently dropped a new album called Gasanova, and Gasanova's pretty good. He has a track on it called Always Saucy, and it uses the beat from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like the theme song. And it's really nice. He's on it with what's the dude who's on Earthquake with Tyler the Creator, but you can never understand what the fuck he's saying? Is it
I only know two other people that work with Tyler the Creator. Either Earl Sweatshirt or Vinny.
I think it's Playboy Cardi who's on it, but it doesn't say his in the instruction. Not in the instructions, in the lyrics. I feel so bad for saying instructions. It's so dumb. Yeah, and Playboy Cardi. So I'm pretty sure
Okay.
Cardi is on Young Saucy with him, and he has an equally impossible to understand portion on the Young Gravy song. But I like his flow.
Sounds about right.
Oh wait, no, it's not Playboy Cardi. He's on it with Ski Mask the Slump God.
Okay.
Really not on it? Is Ski Mask the only guy? See now I'm reanalyzing my whole position. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I only know Ski Mask when he worked with XXXTentacion.
Rest in peace. When you type in Young Saucy, this guy comes up. He's the first result.
It looks fabulous.
I think he would prefer the adjective saucy. Or
There's so
I
many other
don't
pictures though.
recall the character Lock Up from the animated series.
tell me more about the character lockup, because I don't know what you're.
I don't remember because they're just talking about like OC characters from the show making it in, like Harley Quinn, Montoya, and Lock Up, vigilante guy. I don't remember his episode.
Ooh, speaking of vigilantes, they introduced a like new Batman vigilante character in DC Comics. I'm trying to remember what he's called. I don't think he's the Clown Slayer. Oh, the Clown Hunter. That's what he is. He literally just looks like Bruce Wayne, but as a kid. But he wears this like really ridiculous looking outfit. He goes around like killing people who were in the Joker gang. He has a bat that has like a batarang like tied to it, and he just straight up murders people. But he lives in a rough part of Gotham. I think they call it the boroughs, and essentially everyone in the boroughs are like, "Yeah, kill him." The Joker, they're fucking everything up. Kill him. So everyone is like covering for him. If someone shows up like a police officer and they're like, "Who killed all these clowns?"
Hmm?
I
I
missed
like
what
the
you said,
design.
Ryan.
This is Lock Up.
Yeah, that is lockup.
I don't know. I just don't remember that episode.
I don't remember him from the show, but I think I actually saw a news headline that mentioned that he was in the comics, but that's literally all I know about.
Like this.
Well, in the headline they showed the animated series version, and they were saying like lockup's in the comics, but that was like the beginning and end of what I saw. Um,
Mm,
but Clown Hunter is really interesting, like conceptually, because it's like,
I really.
oh, what were you saying, Anthony? I'm with you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted. I was gonna say I really like his design, except for his helmet. It's kind of dumb looking, but I think I do like his overall design.
His helmet is dumb looking. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
When he takes the helmet off, he looks like young Bruce Wayne with like a shaved head. Um, and what's weird about him going around murdering people with a batarang attached to a bat is that Batman knows that this kid is like killing people. And he actually rolls up on the kid in his house. And he's like, "Hey, you should probably like not do that." And the kid is like, "Yo, the Jokers, they like killed my family. The Burrows is my family now. And the Jokers are fucking with the Burrows. You may not kill him. That's not really helping. I'm gonna kill him." And Batman, instead of like arresting this kid, goes, "Hey, like you could probably like fix up like what you're doing. You know, you could just." He tells him to go talk to Leslie Thompson, which is like a doctor in Gotham, and like get some help, but to like stop murdering people. And the kid just doesn't give a fuck. He's just still going out murdering people. So I'm curious how this is gonna go. But he reminds me of like, what if Bruce Wayne, when his parents died, if he just bare basics was like, "I'll just be a murderer," because that just seems to be what he's doing. He doesn't have training. He just has the support of his community.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, understandable.
what are your thoughts on that as a concept?
I really like it. He's pretty much an anti-hero, and that's kind of my thing.
Ooh. Now, if you vibe anti-heroes, there's this weird thing going on in Spider-Man. In the Amazing Spider-Man, they have this character called Sin Eater. Oh wait, I don't know why I typed in Amazon. I think I was thinking Amazing. So Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, so Sin Eater right now, his design's dumb. I really don't like how he looks.
It does look dumb.
But he's been doing this weird shit where essentially he's going around and killing supervillains, right? But when he kills them, they come back to life and they're like, "I confess to like every bad thing I've ever done and I'm not a bad guy anymore and I'm completely reformed." And everybody's like, "Yo, Sin Eater, yo, you're like the real hero of New York. You're like literally reforming the villains so they're not bad guys anymore." And Spider-Man he's a murderer. I'm like watching these people die when he like shoots them. Like it's not cool. And they're like, but they come back to life though. So is it bad, Spider Man? Like chill out. It's just better.
A one that's a really weird power to have. Two, I see not much wrong with that at all, to be honest.
um,
Like when he kills people, is it you say they were reformed, are they like is like a memory wipe or something, or do they just suddenly retain everything about them, but all of a sudden they don't feel like doing bad things anymore?
it's hard to tell. Because the Spider-Man comics that I've been looking at make it seem like stuff is happening really fast on a societal level, so it's hard for you to see how each like bad guy is doing.
What do you think
Okay.
of this picture of Batman's reaction to the plan?
So I read that comic, Ryan, so I'm familiar with it. To fill Anthony in, Ryan pulled up a random screenshot from Dark Knight's Death Metal,
No,
which is the current big.
someone on Twitter had a random screenshot because they're talking about the comments.
Okay, that makes sense. And in the screenshot, Wonder Woman is talking about how like we're gonna go to the dark multiverse to pull anti-crisis energy so that we're able to like recreate the infinite multiverse and stop Perpetua, the evil goddess of the multiverse, from devouring all the Earths. And Batman says, "Well, that's either a plan or you're having a stroke." Uh, so that's what Ryan is talking about. So with the Sin Eater thing, it's hard to tell how much this is like changing the villains and if it's really like, because we don't know if it's like brainwashing or if it's like he's legitimately convincing them that like like you should just be a good person. I noticed that Spider-Man actually jumped in front of one of the Sin Eater's bullets to try and protect like a villain from getting killed, and the bullet went through Spider-Man. Like as if like it can't hit you if you're like a good person. And then it hit the villain instead and like shot him in the head.
Okay.
Sin Eater
I
also
still
keeps like disappearing.
uh,
Oh, I'm sorry. I
I
didn't.
still don't fully. Oh, I'm sorry. No worries, you're fine. I was gonna say I still do not fully understand why there's a need to stop this man. Like, I don't fully understand.
So, Spider-Man seems like right now he thinks he's doing the right thing. Um,
Here, guys, let me take my pants off real quick.
so the
Thank you for
current,
announcing that.
yeah, it's good to know. That way, Volt can leave a comment. You already know. So I would say the current conflict in Spider-Man is something that you might be interested in, Anthony, because
Wait, what?
yeah, the current conflict in Spider-Man I think is something that you would fuck with. So essentially, Spider-Man talks to a bunch of his friends who are in the quote-unquote Spider-Man family, like other people with spider powers.
Spider-Man family sounds like a copy of the Bat family. I mean, you already have a family of Bat. Why would you need a family of spiders?
Different universes. So
Not if you do the crossover,
true, not unless this is the crossover universe, in which
and not if you think that it's actually just one big continuity with the Megaverse.
true. Um, so the thing that's interesting about Spider-Man talking to all
Makes
the
the universe is really dumb if you think about it, because
did
they're
you
already in one big universe thing.
well the crossover universes are where they're always crossed over all the time.
Sounds more like they've made weird arbitrary boundaries within one universe instead of multiple universes existing inside of like concentric circle types of like universe classification.
To fill Anthony in a little bit, though we are getting a little off track from the Spider-Man,
Off
we can
track.
go back around. So essentially, the main publisher of DC Comics, Jim Lee, said, "Yo, everything exists in the infinite DC multiverse. So if it's a DC movie or a DC cartoon or a comic or a game, it all is its own universe." DC Comics have done crossovers with Marvel before, and like all those Marvel crossovers are like their own universes. So technically, there are universes in the DC multiverse where like Spider-Man and Batman like know each other and they've like hung out and like fought together. But it's not like a whoa, you're from like another world thing. It's just like Batman's in Gotham most of the time, so normally he doesn't run into Spider-Man kind of thing. So that's what Ryan was referring to. Now, the thing that I think
Okay.
you'd be interested in, Anthony, when
Yeah.
Spider-Man talks to the different Spider-Man family members, Miles Morales is like, "Yo, Sin Eater is a good guy. I don't know, like, I don't know what you have an issue with Spider-Man, but maybe we should let him reform all the villains and then arrest him. Like maybe after, maybe you technically did kill people, I guess, and then like take him to jail, but then um, s- uh, ooh, I feel like I keep talking over you by accident. My bad, dude.
Oh, no worries. I like making
Yeah,
random
Anthony, be more
conversation
assertive
noises.
and not have
No,
opinions about the thing you barely know about.
I'll
So,
have you know, I know the basic concept of whatever you guys are talking about because he told me the basic concept.
True.
So ha. But
huh?
yeah, yeah.
There's
Oh yeah, I was
this.
just saying, I like making conversation noises. So you are free to talk over me if you want. You probably have something better to say.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
Yeah, like Batman's dude.
That's Ryan's catchphrase, Batman's dick.
That's
So
right.
to jump into the thing that I think you would like, Anthony, because I feel like I've been beating around the bush too much. Madam straight up goes, "Yo, Peter Parker, this is a really important moment for you. The choice that you're about to make is gonna like change your future. Like I'm connected to the web of fate and reality, and I kind of have an idea of what happens in the timeline, but this is unclear in the web. Like I can't see what choice you're about to make. You can either stop Sin Eater from shooting Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, your worst enemy, or you can let Sin Eater shoot him. The choice is up to you." And Spider Man bursts in and he saves Norman Osborn. And then Madam Web goes, "Okay, Spider Man family, everybody get together. Peter Parker fucked up. We gotta stop him. He made a decision."
And this.
I really don't understand why he feels the need to do that. Like,
It
I don't understand. Like, what's the alternative of shooting people, have them be reformed? What's the alternative? Sending them to jail and not be reformed?
I guess it's the idea that like the villains are being stripped of like their free will or whatever.
Yes, that's the one argument I can understand, but I also don't fully mind that. I guess morality wise, it is kind of a touchy situation.
Agreed. Like
But
it's definitely weird.
yeah, but still, it's not like the bulls are gonna hurt decent people, though. So
Well, there's a little bit of an issue with that. When
okay.
Peter becomes popular, there becomes this like vigilante cult that starts dressing like Sin Eater and going out and like fighting criminals. But it's been revealed that Sin Eater can like touch his vigilante followers and give them power. I don't know what power he's giving them. It may be the same like reform people power. I don't know, but
Hmm.
it's becoming like Sin Eater's almost like a vigilante god now. Like it's really weird.
That I guess that is a really weird power to have, especially for a guy that's just rolling up in a purple sweater and green ski mask.
Yeah, his design is really weird. I don't.
Yeah.
So Ryan is showing a clip from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. Do you think that clip like holds up, Anthony? Like, do you think it's still like pretty fuego?
Mm, I still think it looks alright.
I agree. Um,
Yeah.
I think the first Iron Man movie, which came out later, looks rougher than that clip.
I believe it actually.
Rougher in what
Though I never.
regard?
So Ryan asked
sorry.
rougher in what regards? When I watched the first Iron Man movie, I think it seems like it's very obviously CGI when he's in the suit. I don't think it felt that way when I first watched it, but rewatching it, I like the suit just looks really fake compared to I think the newer CGI where I feel like they've like polished it a little bit more.
I think so, because
You
a
recognize?
lot of people, including myself, would probably argue that the like newer stuff from like Endgame stuff looks even fakier.
Interesting.
Yeah, like in a lot of the newer thing, like with Endgame, they have the kind of like people standing in front of a green screen, and then they'll just kind of like blur the background as like a cheap way of. It's very obviously a lot of it's just people standing in green screen. Um, like a lot of the visuals in a lot of the more, especially like Endgame and Infinity War, are pretty poor, even in regards to like earlier Marvel movies.
Hmm.
Like for all their like budget and like characters in it, that money is stretched pretty thin, so a lot of it just kind of looks shitty. Plus, they have like terrible color grading on all their movies there, so makes them look even shittier than they could have been.
Are there any superhero movies that don't suffer from like weird color grading nowadays though?
I mean, like, I don't know, because like the MCU is doing it like consistently, so like all their movies consistently are looking bad when they don't have to. And I don't like the DCU is like dark, like that like night in like Justice League. So I'm like, or not like Justice League is all like red and shit. And Batman vs Superman, a lot of it's like at night. So I don't know if it's like you can't really have colors pop. It's just dark, you know.
I've heard that a lot of the DCEU stuff is kind of blue shifted or whatever. Like they are,
Yeah.
like you're saying, they're trying to make everything look darker.
I mean, I don't mean just dark. I mean like setting it at night isn't gonna make it not look darker and like hard to see, you know.
Well, not everything in the DCEU is like heavily
Yeah.
at night though. You got stuff like Aquaman where underwater seems like it's fairly bright. Man of Steel's main action scene is during the day. You know? So I mean, it varies. Um, Speaking of superhero movies, Anthony, how many of the
What's up?
newer DC movies have you checked out?
Ah, give me 1 second. I need to
Ooh, have
learn
you
which
watched that
which.
new Superman movie?
Okay, so DC's like
Oh.
Superman and Co.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I've seen many of those at all.
Oh, interesting. Did
Yeah.
you see Birds of Prey? That was the most recent one.
No. Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't.
Okay. I'm just gonna go backwards. Just tell me when you have or haven't seen a thing.
All right, I'll be ready.
Shazam,
Nope. So
Aquaman.
I kind of do want to.
It was pretty alright. Aquaman.
Huh. I did see Aquaman.
What'd you think?
Visually, it was fantastic. At least to me. It did. It did feel like much at some point. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm not sure if I know exactly what I'm talking about. But
The story.
the story was whatever. I didn't care much about it. But the ending fight scene with the whole war, that was either visually overwhelming or
What's the line from the prequels where they're like, it's so dense? How dense it is with all this like background stuff.
He's talking about the Star Wars prequels, but I don't get the reference. I'm not
It's
familiar.
like a quote, like the producer.
Oh, well then I definitely don't know like a producer quote. That's like it's not even a thing where if I saw the movie I would have like heard it necessarily. Um, but I think I get where you're coming from. Like the spectacle of the final war scene might have been like just
yeah.
really like too much like noise.
Yes, but there were a bunch of parts that were.
You want me
I
to
also
play
thought it was also visually nice, as well as overwhelming.
from like the behind the scenes on Is it the third one?
I agree that like the visuals of Aquaman were like. I personally didn't dislike the story of Aquaman. For everyone who's like Aquaman, oh the story was like so. What's your opinion on like Black Panther?
I actually saw like the ending minutes of Black Panther. Like my parents, I guess, had like were watching it on like a recording off TV or something. So I saw like essentially it was like at like dinner or something like saw it from like somewhere in the middle of like their final battle and like to the end. So like I saw like Killmonger get killed and stuff like that. So I saw like the last like few minutes of Black Panther. And I've seen the first couple minutes of Black Panther. So I've got all I need, right?
Just
All that middle
a bit of the beginning and a little bit of the end.
5 minutes at the beginning, 5 minutes at the end. That's all you really need, right?
So, my thing is, I'll hear a lot of people say that they liked Black Panther, but they didn't like Aquaman. But from a story perspective, the movies are like very similar. It's about like a guy who is essentially like the rightful king of a secret country that has advanced technology
Uh,
beyond what the rest of the world, and a close relative to
brothers
them
fighting over the
is
throne.
competing for the throne, and they have a final battle where they have to fight over the throne, where they're each suited up in their like special armor shit or whatever. Um, I like that in Aquaman's he doesn't actually like kill his brother. They like find a way to sort it out. Marvel has this thing where they always like to kill the villains, but like story wise, they're
If
very
you don't kill
similar
if you kill the
films.
villain, they can't come back as like a cool villain later, like a rogue scout,
True.
you know.
I do wish
Anyone who's not dead is like what?
Baron
The one from
Zemo,
Spider-Man, like Vulture. He's like a
Vulture's alive, Baron Zemo's alive. Mysterio might still be alive because it could have been like a weird like illusion thing. Um,
You think he like pulled a shadow clone hologram on that last one?
it could have been like fake blood even too. Like it could have been like the real him, but it's
I
like
mean, the whole thing of the like that movie is he's all like, you don't know which one I am.
right. But at the very end of the most recent Spider-Man movie, he's like, "But my spider sense allows me to know the real one." So I don't think it's a thing where it's not the real one, but his death just could have been fake.
Well, is there? I thought the spider sense thing was more like he can like see where the drones are.
If it lets him do that, then how would it not let him know if it was the real
Punch
guy?
the drones, like ignoring the visuals.
Would
So like,
I
like
mean,
I mean, I guess yeah, the same thing would happen, right? Like if there was like a fighting sense, like if you could see through, you'd like see where the drone was, or if it was like actually a dude, I guess.
because remember, all his illusions are like the drone thing. So
Yeah.
if it wasn't him, then he would have been like, "It's another drone, my Spidey sense." And if it was a stunt double, Spider-Man's just met this nigga before. Like
I
it,
feel like it wouldn't be contact. It'd be more like you're saying, like the fake blood,
right?
like
That-
kind of
That's
like
what I think would be.
fake right now. Like what's that thing in like Mission Impossible, like the first one where like the guy like has like blood on his hands and then like falls off like a bridge or something. He like fakes his death that way. It's something like that.
Ryan, there was no way in like four hells I was gonna get the reference to a random scene in Mission Impossible 5. I don't even know if I've seen that one.
Not five, the first one.
The first one? I definitely haven't seen that one.
Neither have I, but I saw those Mr. Sunday
Mr.
movies.
Sunday movie videos? Yeah.
Well, I've seen parts of some of the
Anthony,
earlier.
do you watch Mr. Sunday movies?
What's up?
Do you watch Mr. Sunday movies?
I don't know what that is.
Ah, screen share time. So, Mr. Sunday Movies is a YouTube channel
Okay.
that talks about like a lot of like nerd news and stuff like that. They also
I see.
have a podcast called The Weekly Planet. But these are the two guys who do Mr. Sunday movies. I don't know why he has a cartoon face, but then his real face is on that guy's shirt. But yeah, they're two pretty cool dudes. They're from Australia. I was expecting
Oh,
to see the animated versions of them.
Vegemite.
Yeah, he has this goat thing that looks like Han Solo, and that's normally what he uses. But they own the Planet Broadcasting Company. Where can I find the goat dressed as Han Solo? Yeah, this is his profile pic or whatever.
okay.
And then the podcast pic is his friend Nick Mason with like the Thanos gauntlet or whatever.
Such art.
I've never
Such
had
beauty.
Vegemite.
What's
That's
that?
what Ryan's showing right now.
What is Vegemite?
It's a thing in Australia. See how it says Australia right here? People in Australia apparently eat Vegemite.
What does it taste like?
It's like this vegetable spread stuff.
That doesn't tell me shit. So vegetable does it? There are a lot of different vegetables. I don't know what it is. Do you guys know the name of Australian Burger King off the top of your head?
Not at all.
I mean, like the Burger King in Australia?
Like the name
I
of
would
the
assume-
restaurants in Australia.
Don't
Wait,
they
what?
have like? There's one restaurant where they had like the copyright in Australia first, so they kept it, right?
It's a thing where someone else owned the rights to Burger King in Australia, so they couldn't call. He's googling it. It's called Hungry Jacks, right? Don't cheat. So they're called Hungry Jacks in Australia, and they look like they have the Burger King logo, but it just says Hungry Jacks instead of saying Burger King.
For some reason, Hungry Jack sounds like a nicer fast food place.
Yeah,
It could just because it's different, but
I don't mind it at all.
yeah.
Now Hungry Jack to me reminds me of the pancake mix brand.
Yes.
Grandma used to.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was expecting a pancake house to pop up for some fucking reason.
It's the difference between like the S and no S. Because if you put the S, it's all the Burger King stuff. But if you take the S away, it's pancakes for a little bit, but then the Burger King shines through. Hungry Jack also makes mashed potatoes. I never hear people talk about Hungry Jack like normal food mix. It's always the pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes are the shit. I think they make grits too.
What? I didn't know.
I think. I have no idea. I could just be speaking out my ass, so I don't know.
Google's right here. I don't see it. They got Hungry Jack has holiday funfetti pancakes, pumpkin spice pancakes, and cinnamon spice pancakes. Now I'll be honest. I don't really like a lot of like the different flavors of pancakes.
Yeah, I'm a really standard person.
Now I wouldn't go that far. My shakes like they came out of a Dr. Seuss book, but when it comes to like pancakes, I like plain pancakes. Depending on like the kind of pancakes, I can eat them with like nothing on it. I also like pancakes where you like drown the bitch, like in strawberry and like blueberry syrup. I also like New York cheesecake pancakes, and chocolate pancakes to me are like not super good. I know some people would like kill their mama for some chocolate chip pancakes. I'm like, that's not even going hard enough. Like, I think if you do chocolate pancakes, it needs to be like you pretty much just use chocolate cake mix, but you somehow made that shit in a pan and it just.
Oh, you're talking about pancakes?
Yeah.
That's why I had a chocolate pancake way back. Like, my mom used to make those a bunch of like Michelle would eat them and stuff. But we haven't had one of those in a while. Like, it's just like pancakes generally. Like, it's time before, like, no one's made pancakes in a while.
Yeah, Ryan and I talked about pancakes not too long ago in a phone call, and he just hasn't had them in a hot minute. I think when we talked about flavored pancakes, my nigga Ryan was like he wasn't ready. What were you saying, Ryan?
I thought that was on a podcast.
You thought you were on a podcast. You are on a podcast episode.
No, the time we're talking about pancake.
Did that
I
happen?
thought I was in one of the podcast episodes.
I don't think that happened in a podcast. I thought I was in the kitchen
Mm,
at the time, which would be impossible for one of these podcast episodes. Because this isn't my kitchen. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's see. I've been trying to get people into Spellbreak, but I'm realizing that the more people I get into Spellbreak, because I was talking to Aiden about it, and he's interested, and he's going to check it out. German Gabby, she's interested, she's going to check it out, and her boyfriend's already downloading it now. And Blaine's, who watches the streams, he's like downloading Spellbreak so that he can play. You
Yeah.
can only do 3-person squads. It's I don't know how I'm gonna be able to play with all these people.
Yeah. That do be a little bit weird.
Now, Fantasy Strike though, hopefully we can get some people into Fantasy Strike. Very basic, like fighting game. Easy to play, hard to master. You don't have to worry about like up, down, left, right, reverse quarter circle. I think there are no quarter circles in the whole game. Like they have buttons for like special attacks and supers so that you don't have to do a lot of crazy stuff. And the way that you'll have like differences will be you hold like forward in a button or back in a button, like similar to Smash. You can have some variants
Oh,
having crazy
okay.
command inputs. But it plays more like Street Fighter though. Like it's not a Smash kind of thing.
Right.
The health bar.
That does sound kind of interesting.
I just realized I'm not screen sharing anywhere because I did like a 2-second bit, and now I'm like, oh, you guys can't see any of what I'm showing. So the health bars up here, as you can see, they're like chunked. So when you get hit, you see exactly how much health you lose and how many like health chunks you have left. So it's not left to your imagination like how many hits I have until I'm gonna die. Kind of nice. A lot of fighting games that just have a meter, you just don't really know. It has a good variety of different like character types, though the roster itself I don't think is that big. But the game's free now, so that doesn't really matter. I think a game roster that has like even just like 12 people, if it's free, is free. Like I'm not gonna be like it's shitty. But I think if we could get people on this, it wouldn't matter how many people like wanted to play. Because the matches would be fairly quick. It would be like, oh, you want to 1v1 me, mate? All right, pick up the dukes, and then you swap hands real quick, and then you trade on to the next person. We could do like tournaments and shit. With Spellbreak, you can't really do like a Spellbreak tournament, I don't think. Because what you'd really
No,
do for that is to get everybody in the same lobby, which you just can't do.
yeah, battle royales or lobby games like that.
Now, a game that's like Among Us, but it kind of has like Dead Space vibes, and I can't remember what the fuck it's called. Boop, 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 boop. So I'm looking into that now. Excuse me. My goodness. A whole bunch of sound effects at once. Oh, also, I just realized it's 10:59. My bitch ass lost track of time. Does
Oh yeah, it do be 11.
any
Yeah,
shout
your
outs?
ass,
I missed the last thing you said.
your ass is a female dog, Jack. It's confirmed.
Okay.
Yours
So,
is-
does anyone have any shout outs or recommendations for the end of the podcast?
Yeah, y'all should read An Anarchist Program by Enrico Malatesta.
Anthony?
Alright, I'd like to shout out to my boy Toxic Gauntlet. Wide range capabilities, close range capabilities, nice poison cloud, interacts with everything, whatever you throw at it, be it ice, fire, lightning, stone, all works. Wind, got you covered. Toxic Gauntlet.
How does it
100%.
interact with stone?
It doesn't.
I was like, new
wait,
strat?
Wait, no. Actually, I think it dissipates whenever you stone it. And I know with wind, it'll swirl around the tornado.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you throw actual wind shots at it, it also starts dissipating. So, yeah.
Fair. That is an interaction. That's true.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. This has been episode 14 of the Two Guys Talking podcast featuring your boy Anthony. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding, ding, ding! Ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with
Anthony.
and
Mhm.
Ryan, logging out. Peace, guys. Chickadee guy.